Welcome everyone to Arthritis at Home. My name is Cheryl Koehn. I'm with Arthritis Consumer Experts and we host Arthritis at Home. Episodes come to you every Thursday of every week, all year long. So we're excited you could be here with us today. I am so honored, privileged, over the moon happy to be sitting in studio today with Dr. Linda Lee. Welcome to the program, Dr. Lee.
Thank you, Cheryl. Pleasure to be here.
For our audience, Dr. Lee, I'm going to tell them a little bit about you. Dr. Lee is a senior research scientist of clinical epidemiology at Arthritis Research Canada. She holds the Harold Robinson Chair in the School of Rehabilitation at the University of British Columbia. She is a Canada Research Chair in Knowledge Translation. She is all things absolutely fabulous. Probably, if not the smartest person I know, at least one of the handful. So excited to have you here today, Dr. Lee, to talk to us about a really cool project, Citizen Science Long COVID Survey. A few words tacked together that actually mean a lot, and we're going to ask you a few quick questions to let our audience know more about citizen science and how they might even get involved in your project. So without further ado, I want you to explain to the audience, Dr. Lee, what is citizen science?
Thank you for asking that question, Cheryl. Citizen science is a way of doing science differently. In a short way to explain it. And, it is a way that we are collaborating with the public, with people who have lived experiences and observations that, they would like to share with scientists to learn about our health, our environment, our life. And so in a way, citizen science is a way for, people everywhere. It doesn't matter if you do research, for a living or, anyone out there who want to collaborate with scientists, people who do research for a living to generate new knowledge, to learn about the health of people with different conditions and even learn about the world that's around us. So it's boundless. It's a way to democratize science and it's just a new way of collaborating with people and with the public to do research.
Yeah, it's such a cool, it's so powering. I like the word powering rather than empowering. Powering is something I can do for myself and then take advantage of it and move forward in my life. I love the whole idea about citizen science. And I love the word you just chose to use, democratizing, because actually the science lives within my body. It lives within my experience. And I can actively choose to share that with the research community. And it's just pure altruism. You can actually do something yourself by providing information about your experience to advance. And then you as the expert take it, you collate it anonymously, obviously. You look at the different facets of these experiences, and then you can have results that are then generalizable to maybe broader audiences, broader populations. So it's not just enough that we can say Cheryl had this experience. You can gather the experience of citizen scientists across the country in your project, which is so exciting.
That is so true, and one of the beauties about citizen science is that, Cheryl, as in the past, scientists will, do research and ask research questions in a way that, perhaps is of interest to them or of interest to what they know should be the next step, to answer. But it may not be, it's not necessarily the priority of people who, who are living with the condition or with the lived experiences that, may be able to, tell us what is the most logical way or the most important question to address. So, with citizen science, it enables, the research community to really reach out and genuinely collaborate with, people who have, something important to share, and start generating, what are the theories that we know we should perhaps look at, what are, the priority questions that we should invest in. So it's a more efficient way, to do research, and it's more meaningful way to be able to collaborate and give back to the community.
Absolutely. It's just so, I'm sitting here with a grin on my face because it's just such an exciting project. Tell us, Dr. Lee, this is not the first citizen science type project that you've done. You're using the same platform, digital platform, with some tweaks, of course, to look at long COVID and the experience of people who have it. You also, though, use this platform to look at pain. And I'm wondering what you can tell us, Dr. Lee, about that particular aspect of research through this citizen science sort of approach.
Yeah, no, certainly. So the citizen science project started, as a proof of concept, type of project that was spearheaded by the BC Support Unit, which was an entity funded by, the Canadian Institutes of Health Research, as well as the province of British Columbia.
Shout out to both of them for doing that.
Absolutely, for having the vision and and the foresight to embark into something that we really had not done a whole lot in health research in the past. So the first version of the citizen science platform was sort of co-developed with people primarily with chronic conditions of different types. Cheryl, you yourself, just a big shout out to you and Joint Health and Arthritis Consumer Expert, that was really front and center in helping us to decide what would be the first version of citizen science would look like. As there are so many important questions and areas that we can cover, so we need to narrow down to something that we can actually do a proof of concept. And what came out from a series of discussion was to look at pain. Something that
everyone on the planet lives with pain at some point in their life.
Absolutely. So, we thought that we understand a lot of pain, how people experience it, the type of treatment, or things that we should learn more about in pain management. But do we really understand the experience of pain, by people who lived with it on a daily basis, and they might have tried things to manage, the condition, and they might, found things that, would work for them, and, perhaps wanted researchers to, to study a little bit more. Yeah. So that was the concept of the first version of citizen science. We developed a platform where people can tell us about simple things like how often they experience their pain, and how long, the nature of the pain, where they have the pain, and then we start asking more specific questions about how it affects their everyday lives, their work, their quality of life. And how often that they seek information, were they happy about the information that they receive about pain management. And then we also ask people, but what are your theories around, what makes the pain better? What have you tried? What makes it worse? Yeah. And anything that you want to share with us, for researchers to look at around pain management. So that was the concept of the first version of citizen science. We had about 270, 280 people who have contributed information around their pain experiences. And what we did, as part of citizen science, is that we give back to people who contributed the information, but as well as anyone who wanted to learn about what we've done. So if you go to Citizen Science website, you actually see some visual graphics that, if you're interested in, for example, what people tell us about, if you have arthritis, how much pain do you experience, and what do you think are the things that make it better or make it worse? You can actually go to the website and visualize the information that's given by people who were willing to share with us.
Yeah,
So
it's so
that was the first
exciting.
version.
It's so exciting. So at the end of this, Dr. Lee will provide the link where people can go to look at that first sort of a pass at citizen science and pain. I want to turn our conversation though to the current study you have going on in your citizen science portal, and that's on long COVID. And obviously our audience is made up of people largely living with some type of arthritis. And I know when we go out in the world today, Dr. Lee, there's a sense on the part of many that COVID is over, and it is far from over. It's far from over for people living with autoimmune types of the disease. We're still masking, we're still very hypervigilant. Thankfully, there are treatments now, so the prognosis, if you do get it, might be a bit better. But you're particularly interested in long COVID. And so tell us about this particular project. What do you hope to learn? And tell us why the work is really important. Why everyone who's watching and all of their friends and all of their friends and all of their friends who are experiencing long COVID should go to the portal and provide their experience. It's anonymous, it's safe. And you'll be doing science yourself. And we're going to give a link to get there after this as well.
Long COVID, the post-COVID project is really a collaboration of people living with long COVID and health professionals and researchers wanting to understand a little bit more around people's experience of, long COVID, over time. As you mentioned, it looks like, COVID is, kind of, at a stage that, people are more relaxed about it, but people who had the experience, of COVID, some of them may actually have, symptoms and experiences that, they continue to live with. So the goal of the Long COVID project is to understand how the symptoms of people who recover from COVID was experiencing. We wanted to know what did they have, in terms of symptoms during COVID. Did they still have it after COVID, disappear? And we also wanted to know, sort of how these symptoms affect their everyday lives, and some of their theories around what makes those symptoms better, worse, and what if they try. So anybody who with long COVID symptoms are welcome to sign on to the website. As you mentioned, Cheryl, it is anonymous. You can contribute as much and as little you would like, so nobody dictates how much you would like to tell us, but we do want to learn about your personal lived experience with the symptoms. And we welcome anyone from Canada with the long COVID symptoms to be share their experience with us. For people who are interested in seeing, sort of the data we've collected so far, again, go to the website, patientscientist.ca, and have a look at, some of the graphics that generated in, I was going to say in real time, but it's actually update every 24 hours. So you can actually see what people are telling us about their long COVID symptoms.
That's amazing. That's one of the things I love about this work, Dr. Lee, is it's not as citizen scientists. I just love using that term. As citizen scientists, we can actually look at results in real time. We can actually continue our curiosity, not just in providing our own experience through the survey form on the portal. We can go back and see what's happening cumulatively in terms of responses and things of that nature. So super, super exciting. Again, we're going to provide a link to that, to the survey, to the portal itself. To our audience, remember, you can go look at some of the pain information, and you can participate in this current project on long COVID. There are a lot of us who have it. Be a citizen scientist, move the dial and the knowledge for everyone like ourselves who may be struggling with it. We really sincerely appreciate your participation. Dr. Lee, in our remaining minutes, I just wanted to ask you if there's anything else you wanted to share in the way of your work or anything else you'd like to share for that matter with our Arthritis at Home audience. What's on the front burner? What's on the, what projects are you currently sort of turning the heat up on? What do you see? What's exciting you at the moment in your field of research?
Yeah, no, Cheryl, if I may, I would
Yes,
first of all like to give a shout out of people who's behind citizen science. If
it was my
that's
next
okay.
question, actually.
Oh, okay.
Go for
Okay.
it.
Yeah, so I just wanted that to be out there so much because this work would not have happened without, some of the amazing, visionary, working with us who are crazy enough to dream about, this idea of involving people in research. So individuals like yourself and Joint Health and Arthritis Consumer Expert, first and foremost, thank you.
Thank you.
BC Support Unit has been with us all, like at every step along the way. Without their funding and support and trust in us, it would not have happened. But there's another amazing group that I want to shout out, is the post-COVID interdisciplinary clinical care network in British Columbia. Without their support and being a champion of the long COVID project, this would not have happened. So what is really exciting with citizen science, I can tell you today, is that we have collaboration with a group in Quebec who's going to translate the information in French. So they're not just going to do it with long COVID, but they're also going to look at it with the pain survey as well. Second exciting thing was that we recruited a postdoctoral fellow, Dr. Cody Primmel, who is going to take on a project to specifically look at the impact of pain and long COVID in people who are members of the LGBTQ communities. So this is super exciting because this is a group that we when we're doing research we sort of neglected in the past in terms of their lived experiences and their involvement. So it's super exciting. Last thing that I'd like to leave is that for researchers to ask really good questions and do good research, we really need the guidance of people with lived experiences, to help us, to guide us along the way. Citizen science is going to be just as good as the information that everybody contribute. So please help us to help work together and, use data to build a better world.
It's that line in the Jerry Maguire movie, help me, help you. I love it. Thanks for giving those groups a huge shout out. It is our pleasure to be working with you, Dr. Lee, and all of the partners in citizen science. It's an honor. And we're going to do our level best to drive folks there. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Arthritis at Home, everyone. Following this sign off, you're going to see some slides with links that you can visit to learn more. And we really encourage you to become a citizen scientist and take the survey if in fact you're living with long COVID, and also explore the other projects and get involved in those that Dr. Lee has mentioned that are upcoming with the Citizen Science Portal. So thanks so much, Dr. Lee, again for joining us in studio today. Thank all of you who are joining us out there in internet land. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Arthritis at Home, and we'll see you again next week.